Hello guys and welcome to episode 14 of my Ymir multiplayer series. So, this is an exciting one. I can't lie, it's been the most action-packed 24 hours of the series so far. And I want to actually say, in my whole Ymir gaming experience over the last two years, but that would ignore the fact that I've been in some pretty crazy wars, war where, attacking with 500 men. So that's probably a little bit more impactful. But in terms of actually changing my plan, learning so much about Ymir in these 24 hours, this has definitely tops it all. So I said I'd come back once I sort of sorted out legitimacy, once I'd sort of balanced our loyalties, And I've come back, and Christ, have I switched things up to how I normally play. So, firstly, I've gone for an insanely high legitimacy. Usually, I get my, or I say usually, but on the other server I was playing on a few weeks ago, and I think the last series, I got my legitimacy to about 30, 20, 30, never anything crazy. This time I thought, why don't, well, I say this time is based on me, I've been getting a lot of advice from some very good players on the game, on the Ymir Discord and on my own Discord, so check out my own Discord if you want to get involved with future Ymir content, or just speak to me and the members in the community. But yeah, I've been chatting with people on there. They've been so helpful in giving me advice and just teaching me about things, more advanced things of Ymir I just didn't know. So they've said it's much more important to go for basing your loyalty off legitimacy. So getting around 60 legitimacy is what I've done here. And you can actually see with the bribes I'm giving, which is a lot though, I'm giving a lot of bribes. We're getting our wealth of our oligarchs up to about 40. We are still negative loyalty, but I don't have an army. The reason is because an army costs 5 state power, and with 15 men in the army, or 10 men in the army, or whatever I had, I think it was 10 men, the state power for my army was only 5.5. So technically, the army was making me a net positive of 0.5 loyalty. 10 men used up. So I thought it was just not worth it. So in fact, I've spent the money that would have been spent on their wages on just extra oligarch bribes. We're making a budget balance of plus 40. We have got, let's see here, 5% waste, which is huge. The reason for this is because I was actually experimenting myself in between episodes. I was like, I've seen before that officials can get minus waste. So I'm gonna give it a little test. So I first upped, so I'm doing this by the way, I know I'm gonna get a lot of people shouting and be like, oh my god, why have you not got privileges enabled? I do not have privileges enabled. So I wanted to go for a playthrough. I thought, you know what, I'm gonna try without privileges. Probably a little silly, yes, but actually at the same time, because I haven't got privileges, I'm saving 25 plus loyalty, because I'm saving the loyalty that you would have had for your leader. So actually what is hilarious is my leader is actually pretty poor. Like, he's poorer than all the officials, all the traders, all the hunters, and the oligarchs. So he's actually a bit of a nobody in the town. Which is technically, he's me. So yeah, I'm a bit of a nobody. Nothing unusual there. But yeah, so I haven't gone for privileges. Because of that, I said I wouldn't do this, but I haven't gone for superior leader, so I'm saving 10 coins and 5 state power. Because I've got privileges, I'm saving the 5 state power there, plus all the conflict. It gives you 20% conflict. So it's quite a hefty penalty. So even if you take it on and you only set 5% privileges, still getting that 20% conflict and the 5 state power loss. So I haven't gone for that. Instead, and this is again where the feedback I've got is I've done it probably not in the most efficient way, but to me, I'm happy with the effects. Is government salaries. So government salaries doesn't cost you any conflict, and the more you up it, obviously it doesn't increase conflict, it just means you have to spend more of your coins. It does still have the 5 state power though, but no upkeep, no conflict. So it's very good more late game because you're saving, instead of taking wealth, you're just paying people coins, but you don't get the conflict or loyalty debuffs. So getting that, and I'm paying each official 3.5 coins. So by doing that, our official, we have 13 of those. So with the oligarchs, I'm paying 17 coins each, which is huge. There's only 3. The officials, I'm paying 3.5 coins each, but there's 13 of them. So you can see here, my wages, 97 coins are being spent on my oligarchs and my officials. Which may go, what the hell? That is just, what are you doing? You're a complete idiot. And yeah, I probably am not doing it as efficiently as I could do with privileges, but it's all part of my plan. I'll explain. So privileges takes a percentage of your total wealth and gives it to somebody. So if you set it for leader, your leader takes it. That's why a lot of people have very, very, very wealthy leaders, because they have 25% privileges. If you give it to your officials get it. The problem with this though, is that as you take wealth out of your territory, your monetary unit value goes down. So if you take 25% of your wealth out, my monetary unit value, or my wealth is going to go down by 25%, which would, assuming my GDP stays the same, would be a 25% decrease in my monetary unit value, which means each bribe is worth less. So I'm taking out money, so I don't need to bribe my officials with coins, but the bribes I have to pay to my oligarchs, well, 25% off. These would be 1.5. So technically I'd have to spend 25% more coins. So that's, you got that offset. And then obviously the privileges also then would give me 30 loyalty debuff. So it's, well, I'm already suffering from loyalty here, you can see, so I do need to up my legitimacy through these guys, but they are increasing. But yeah, 30, I just couldn't handle it. So that's why I haven't gone for privileges. But privileges, as far as I'm aware, is something you wean off anyway as you progress. So as you go into the Bronze Age, you might quit it as you get taxation. So I've just done that early, and I'm happy with it. I'm going to stick like this. I'm making quite a bit of money, actually. See, we were making +6 when I ended this episode last time. We're now making +40, and that is a massive increase. So another thing, waste. That's what I was talking about before. I've got waste down to such a low value of 5%. So you can see here, local administration is huge, 23%. And the population corruption, nothing we can do about that. It's just simply we've got a bigger population. We've got the active policies from the bartering, but now the 25% minus officials corruption, which is 25% is basically the limit as well, guys. So you can only get your officials to give you -25, but that is huge. So going back to my point about the officials being so well paid, God, what a waste of money. But before, I took the screenshots on Paint. I'm such a nerd. Every single coin extra I added, I screenshotted what the starting was and what the ending was. So I started with 2 coins because I knew I'd want to go for 2 coins. And so from when I started, I think I had like 60% waste. Then going to 2 coins, I had 25% waste. 3 coins, I had like 10% waste, and then going to 3.5 coins, I've had 5% waste, or whatever it was. It was definitely, you could see the logical decrease in waste the more coins you added. And I calculated that against how much I was paying in bribes, and it was very efficient. For 2 coins each, so 2 times 13 is 26, so I was paying 26 coins. I made about 33 coins in gained waste, so lost waste, however you want to say it. The loss of efficiency, the loss in waste had been converted into me getting that money. So I gained 33 coins to lose 26 in wages. I was making, what is that? What's the maths there? About what, 7 coins? I don't even think. My head's going crazy. Anyway, so I was making a profit there, and then I continued that with another 3 coin, or sorry, another coin to make it 3 coins. The same proportion occurred. So actually, with almost 100 wages spent, I've reduced my waste to about 5%, and that's huge. And remember, as I said before, waste isn't, wrong one there. Waste isn't just your budget balance being reduced. It's also your trade. So every single trade you make, which, this is another amazing point. Look at this, market. So I'll go into that in a second. But every single trade you make on the market incorporates waste. So let's say I wanted to sell hose. Actually tell you? I don't think no, it doesn't. It doesn't tell you on the menu. But for every trade you make, you have to pay the waste on that trade. So if you've got 50% waste, the game doesn't incorporate that into your sales for you, or tells you it does, sorry. You just have to know that occurs. So let's say I sold these hose for 3.1 coins each. You can see, oh no, it does, sorry, it does show you, yeah. So we can see that there's 55 coins because we own all these hose. So the game's telling us that we're making, wow, look at all that profit, look at that revenue. But actually, we've already bought these, so technically we've already lost the amount of money that we would have spent to get them. But let's assume that, we've got these 155, not paying producers anything. Well, you can see here, 5% waste is taken off. So if we had something like 25% waste, that means that every sale you're making, to break even, you'd have to add 25% to like the price. Because let's say we buy these at 2.3 and we sold these at 2.3, we'd actually make a loss. We'd add 2.3 plus 25%, and that's just us breaking even. So the waste is huge. because it's on your income, it's on your trade. Especially your trade is to your income, but you don't think of it as being as part of your budget balance here. But it's in that. It's also one, if you, like I've said before, if you pick up resources of a formation, that incorporates waste. So then if you want to build buildings, sometimes when you're building buildings, I'm not sure if you've noticed it in Ymir, if you've played it yourself, but when you're building buildings, it has a small little price. If you don't own the goods, that is because you're actually buying the goods. But if you own all the goods you're using to build that building, that price is the waste. So waste is everywhere, which is why getting it as low as possible is huge. Not only for your budget balance, but when you're actually spending money or earning money. So getting that down to 5%, which is the best I can do. As I said, 25% is the max we can go down by. But yeah, absolutely brilliant there. So that's the money situation. We're earning 40 coins with huge wages, but extremely low waste. And actually, I've also reduced forced labour from 30 to 25. So I think the end of the last episode I had it at 30. If not, I'd increased it since then, since the episode. But now I've decreased it back to 25, or lower to 25, I should say. So we get that 5% efficiency back. And we're still making plus 40 with 600 coins. So that is all brilliant stuff. But let's stop yapping about the budget balance. Let's actually take a look at Castell. So guys, we're in Castell. You might already notice some big changes. Let's go through them. We've got extra forum. So forum now should be near 100%. There we go, 93%. Forum is... I always used to think of forum as just this little culture bonus here. This is when I didn't say I knew. This was like a couple of weeks ago. Like, this is how crazy it's been in the last... This series has taught me so much already. But anyway, I used to think, oh, you get +5 culture. That's great. And that's all I really thought about it. That is literally all I thought the forums were for. You get the +5 culture. I more recently learned, actually, the forums give you the social access. Social access 1, which gives you a further life quality bonus of 2. And then, as I've said before, if you want to go to the next layer and get full efficiency out of that next layer, you need to have all of the previous layer finished. So to get 100% social access is required to then get the extra life bonuses, or all of the extra life quality bonuses from the next layer. But yeah, so we get +1 culture, or +5.7 culture here, plus we then get the life quality, which then gives us a further culture. So yeah, getting 100% forums, brilliant. We've also got some builders. So the builders, even though they're on low, we've got 3 out of 3, which just shows you how many workers we've got now, 207. With the builders, I've upgraded both the clay miners, and now, with just 8 workers, we fully capture all the clay, which is great. We've saved 4 workers there. And this one is actually still working at a quarter, so if I fired him, I still get the 100%, which is where the game is frustrating. I've even raised a feedback post on the forum, not the forum, sorry, the Discord, to say that there needs to be some sort of cap in the game. So on buildings, you can maybe have like a little plus or minus here to say what the cap is, because there's so many examples of buildings, like that is just the perfect example right here, where there's only 75% usage the building can get, but you still want to get the resource. So I still want to mine clay, but I don't want to have 4 out of 4 workers, because even if just 3 out of 4, I get 100% usage. So with 4 out of 4, that extra worker does nothing. He's just a wasted job. But then if I set this building to low, or not, it's not critical, sorry. If I set it to low, then everyone's going to leave this job to go and work in more important jobs. So I don't want everyone to leave, because I still want 3 workers in it. So there needs to be some sort of feature that you can toggle, like how the max number of workers you want. And there's just, like, I don't see anything wrong with that, because you're still building the full cost of the building. You're just then getting less out of it. So, but for some resources, that's what you want. Anyway, loads more doctors I've built, because actually, even with all of these doctors, we're still not even hitting 100%. We're hitting 80%. So with all these doctors, we are getting much closer though to maxing out that growth. And like I said before, it's 8 growth. So yeah, 8 health growth. So our population is getting another 15 jobless, getting another 90 people. When we get one more person, we're gonna get a little mission that pops up. Not mission, sorry, a notification that pops up here, saying that our hunters are leaving, or not the hunters, the wildlife's leaving. So our hunters will become useless. So when we hit one more person, we will lose our hunters. But I'm not too fussed about that, because they bring in marginal gains. They bring in 0.8 leather each, and a lot of meat though, 4 meat. But look at the amount of meat we're producing now, guys. 10 meat per tick. It's because I put where is it? Culture. I put a sieve point in meat. Basically, I've started to go into leather cloves because we're producing so much buffalo, and buffalo is my main production source, that I felt, what do we need the buffalo for? It's leather and meat. So why not make more leather cloves, because they have such good wealth, and we need the leather clothes. So why not make more leather clothes? And then because of that, I also get the meat. So by putting a sip point in meat, we get extra meat, brilliant. But because our meat efficiency goes up by 20%, that means we butcher more animals. Butchering more animals, we also then up the leather production. So putting that sip point in meat is a double whammy for leather and meat in one. And we then also get more out of our buffalo. So that is brilliant. So yeah, we've got, what is that? 6 of 18 workers all on butchering. And over here in my leather workers, well, I don't even want to count. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. We've got 20 tannery workers over there. So the leather clothes industry is a big part. But now look at my wealth, 641 wealth. So even with 3,100 coins every 10 ticks being traded, I've still got a monetary unit value now of over 2, which is pretty damn good. I'm very happy with that. So with all this extra meat, when we lose our hunters, we lose marginal leather. We do lose a lot of wealth though. These hunters produce a lot of wealth. But hey, we lose that. But the meat we can handle because again we produce so much extra. And then once I get more buffalo up, because we've got another countryside, the one north of me, called Humid, that's in the jungle, how original. That can still grow buffalo, so I'm going to grow some more buffalo there. There's going to be more buffalo. So that's brilliant. So we can cover back our meat, claw back our meat and leather we're losing from those hunters by getting more buffalo production up in Humid, our new countryside. So what else? We have got pottery working at full production. So pottery, we're supplying 16 out of 18. But I'm now buying that in. So now we've got another little button here, trading. You can see I'm buying 1.2 in. 1.2 in when my stocks go below 30. Because I produce pottery for 1.2. I buy it in, I want to actually buy it in, it's for 0.9, but it's sold to my people for 1.2. So the market price is 1.2. If I'm buying in pottery on my own on the external market, sorry, for 1.2, and I'm selling it for 1.2, I'm not having to spend all my workers working it. I'm not having to spend all the resources on actually creating it. Yeah, I'm getting it for the same price, so I'm not making a loss. So it's just it's just brilliant, isn't it? I'm saving all the time of my workers, I'm saving all the resources that I have to give my workers, and I'm still getting the same life quality bonus. Anyway, because when I buy in for 1.2, I sell it to my traders here for 1.2, and that's what this thing here is, this trade balance. You can see here, we actually sell 59 worth of resources. So that's why it's positive, because we're selling more than we're getting. But I'll come to that in a second. That's actually another thing I wanted to talk about, another big thing. But over here, look at all the houses. We've got a huge amount of houses, because I use up a lot of the axes we've made ourselves, but I've also been buying in a lot of axes. Look how cheap they are on the market. 15 coins. Again, go back to the same point. It cost us, I believe, I haven't tried, because my coins are still, the coin value of the axe is still pissing me around. It's 4.8. Should be a lot higher, but the coin value of an axe is around, as far as I'm aware, 13 coins. And then if you wholesale buy it, it's probably around 11 coins. It cost us 11 coins to make it ourselves at the cheapest. We're buying it for 11 coins, but we have to have someone working here. And then on top of that, we have to have all our copper working going on. So this whole industry about getting these axes. Why would I do all of that when I can just buy them in for 15 coins? And instead, I can produce something that I'm, good at. Let's say the meat. I sell marginal profits, because this meat is always like really, look at this, 1 coin they're selling meat for on the market. So meat is in absolute abundance on the server, but I can still sell other areas I produce excess of to then make up for that axe loss. Or even then, all my budget balance that I'm bringing in, 40 coins per hour. I think it's per hour, or is it per 90 minutes? I can't remember which one it is for one of me. The money I'm bringing in, why don't I just spend that on axes? So I've taken out all my axe. So this is where it's been quite a contradiction. There was me saying I'm going to be setting up this huge foundry industry. I'm going to put all my sip points into copper. I've been advised, and this is again which blew my mind, copper isn't actually a very good industry to go into, or any metallurgy. And the reason is, it all comes down to monetary unit value. So, monetary unit value is the amount of wealth you've got divided by the amount of money circulating your economy. Simple as that. In real life, it's inflation, basically. It's the inflationary level. It's the value of the pound or the US dollar or whatever. So in Ymir, how that's calculated is by, again, the wealth of your territory, which is produced on every single building, wealth, 3.5 here. Canneries produce the most wealth at 16 for me. 16, so it's 8 per worker. And that all adds up to produce your total wealth for the territory. And also a little bit in stocks. I don't know how we can check what we have in stock, but you can see here, if you click on the gold, stored wealth is 0, but gold is worth 2 wealth per unit, whereas mud bricks are worth 0.03. So if you have lots of stocks of gold or silver, they can also then contribute to your wealth of the territory, raising it. But I'm not sure why it's not got stored wealth at the moment. I'm not sure if it's because we need to enable more policies, get further tech, or just because it's glitched, I don't know. But that usually would say, yeah, that's like 1 coin, or here where it's gold, it would say that is like, well, it would be 4 times, what was it, 4 times 2? Yeah, so it'd be 8 wealth there. So I don't know why that's not happening. But anyway, and then it's divided by all your GDP. So the GDP is 310, and then because this is every 10 economic cycles, it's times by 10, 3,100. So if I click on a building that's working, this is what the GDP is. Simply the sales. So that's obviously the same as real life. GDP measured on the gross domestic product. It's the amount of sales that are occurring in your economy. So every single building that's going on all has this sales amount. They're, again, all total together. So obviously the worst, or the biggest I should say, is the 16.8, the 8s, the 9.6, 16.8 again. All from the markets, because these merchants make huge sales because obviously they're selling all their goods. So that's why our GDP shot up when we went to barter. So all the markets came in. All the merchants, sorry. But what I'm trying to get to is if you've got the GDP getting higher and higher and higher and higher, but your wealth stays the same, your monetary unit value goes down, which again means your people are less wealthy because they might be earning 5 coins, but the value of the 5 coins they're earning have gone down. So why this is relevant is because metallurgists, as I've been told, I never even thought about it, but metallurgist sales are extremely high because they're producing a good that has it's only 3.6 because it's a glitch for me, but the value of copper is really, really expensive. So because they produce, let's say, 2 bars of copper, each bar of copper is worth 13 coins, they will sell 26 coins worth of copper. But they only produce, let's say, 12 wealth. So you can see here, this building is creating more GDP, so circulating more coins than it is producing wealth. So because of that, it upsets your monetary unit value balance by making your money worth less. So if you've got your whole economy, which is what I was going for, hugely pumping out copper bars, and then you're turning those copper bars into axes. Again, the axes, it's not, with hammers and stuff, it's absolutely fine. Look, 2.8 coins, you get 4.3 wealth. So this building actually produces more wealth than it loses. Axes, it's not going to show us actually because axes, again, the value is so terrible. But axes are the same, where axes sell for 13 coins, because then you're buying them for 13 coins, but they only produce 4 wealth. So it's creating 3 times more GDP than it is wealth. About upsetting your monetary unit value. Where is it? Monetary unit value. But these are more advanced features. If you're this far into the series, you're either very interested in Ymir, or you're more of an advanced player who's just looking and enjoys it. So you might know this already, but if you don't know this already, this might be a little too advanced for you to think about and take interest in right now. Because again, I've got 1,000 hours on the game, and only now did I realise the fact that, yeah, the sales versus the wealth, how much, because I've focused on the monetary value before, but I never considered it that actually, yeah, these metallurgist buildings are creating way more sales than they are wealth, so they're actually upsetting your economy. I never thought about it. So it's not something that you need to know to enjoy the game or do good in the game. Like I said, I'd never played like this before, and I've always done moderately well. Never like good though. But now we're getting better. We're now 20th on the server, and we're climbing quite high. We're growing very, very quickly. As you can see, we're getting 15 jobless. And as I'm getting into more and more industry, I'm getting more and more people because I continue to upgrade the houses. We will continue to grow at a fast rate. So yeah, we might start climbing back into the top 20 players. So I am excited. But going back to all the start of that conversation, all the boring economics, it's the fact that I'm stopping copper production just because I don't need to. I can buy all my axes for cheap. Copper industry takes up so many jobs. Each mine takes up 6 workers, and the 6 workers only produced me 1.6 copper. So this 1.6 copper is coming from my countryside, by the way. That's why none of these mines are operating, but I'm still earning copper. So 6 workers gives you 1.6 copper. Yet, if I go on the market, people are selling copper for 4.5 coins. I buy it in for 2.7, so that is almost double the price, but it's under double the price. But I sell it for 3.6, so my metallurgist will buy it from me for 3.6 coins. So technically, if I bought the copper in for 4.5, I've only actually lost 0.9 coins. Yeah, I'm saving 6 workers. And that is, remember, I've got 2 SIV points in copper ore. So I've actually now started to revoke them. So I'm revoking 1 SIV point in copper, and I'm going to start revoking these 2 in copper ore. Because why would I want to, you know, spend all my resources on mining this ore? Let's say I'd need 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. So I need 30 miners. I'd then need another, what is that? 8. Sorry, these are, it'd be 12, would it be? 18, sorry. 18 metallurgists. I'd need to get more charcoal workers. And all of this just so I can save 2 coins per axe. Like, it's crazy. So that's what I'm decided to do. I'm moving out of copper. Doesn't mean I'm not going to produce copper, though. It just means I'm not going to specialize in it, and there's a big difference. Specializing in the copper is mass producing it, putting loads of SIV points into it. I'm not going to stop producing it, though. What I plan to do is get 1 or 2 foundries working off of just 1.6 copper, or maybe 1.6 copper plus 1 mine operating here, and then that will be enough. I don't produce my own axes, no. I just build up copper to make stuff that I don't feel is worth buying on the market. Spears. Later on it'll be light helmets, bronze shields, bronze armor. Because obviously by then we'll be making bronze, so if there's any tin I can still make the same. Because these things, martial goods, I always find in Ymir really expensive on the market. And rightly so, because people don't want to sell you military equipment in the case that then you might use it against them or become a superpower that's dominating the market, dominating the map, dominating the markets, whatever. So they don't like to produce military equipment and sell it on the market. And if they do, it's for very high prices. So that is why I'm thinking about still producing a little bit of copper, just so I can cover myself if I ever need to go into a defensive war. I can produce my own spears or whatever. But in the meantime, I've shut down my copper industry. It's completely shut down. I've got no one working in it. And like I said, I'm revoking copper. So we've got 22 hours left on the copper. Then I'll start revoking the copper ore. And I'm going to put my SIV points instead into... what am I going to put them into? I want to get another one in buffalo. I want to get another one in meat. I want to get more leather clothes because I don't even meet my leather clothes demand yet. We need 18 and I only produce... I do produce 18 technically, actually. I'm not sure why I produce extra. That's new. I wasn't producing 18 earlier. But I do want more leather clothes because I want brute huts. I remember in the last series I did, the brute huts was the... this one here. The brute huts was like the first... So sorry, this last series was the first time I'd used the brute huts. And I wasn't too excited about them. And I placed them down. I thought, wow, these are really, really good. Or at least I think they're really, really good. 6 workers, you produce... I think it's like 15 loyalty or 12 loyalty buffs. You lose a tiny bit of culture, but the loyalty is so worth it. Because for 15 loyalty or whatever amount it was, you need a lot more soldiers. And you still produce the wealth and the forced labour from them. So it's like having an army, a raised army, in terms of the loyalty created. But you still get the wealth from the soldiers. So you get the contribution to your total wealth to help the game with the monetary unit value. And you get the forced labour, because armies don't provide you forced labour, but the workers do. So it's really, really good. But without silver or adornments, I remember if you remember last series, if you watched that series, I paid them in silver, and they take like 0.01 silver. So it's not like they even like take very much, yet they just still work at full capacity. They take, I think, 2.5 leather cloves, something like that. So going into leather cloves is still really, really good, because I can sell any on the market. Look here, the leather cloves are very, very cheap at the moment. 2.3. Yeah, there's a massive battle going on. Look at this. We've got our neighbour, Haman. We've got Cario here, who's one of the best players on the server at the moment. His nation is actually currently winning, I believe. He's got 10 points per turn, or per hour. I think it's every 24 hours this is. So he's getting 10 points every 24 hours. So he's on his way. Oh yeah, he's miles ahead. Look at that, 4,700 score. So he's miles ahead. He probably will become the best nation on the server in a second. But yeah, so he's massively fighting for leather cloves. So it's not like I had much market room, but in terms of just a really high wealth producing industry, again, to boost my total wealth, it'll be really useful just to stock up on leather cloves to constantly mean that I'm fulfilling my demand for it, and then also meaning that I can get some brute huts. Any excess I can then just sell on the market. It's really that simple. What else is there? Got loads of hammers coming in now. Because again, look, I'm buying flint on the market, so because I'm buying flint on the market, I don't have to rely on, you know, just like can't produce my own hoes and hammers. And yes, you might be saying, well, why the hell are you producing hoes and hammers but then not axes? Because all the hoes and hammers on the market are all selling for 5 or 6 coins. Yet, if I buy in hoes or hammers, it's going to cost me 2.3, so it is a 3 times loss. And because also they cost 2.4 here, but they're making 4.3, they're not upsetting my monetary unit value. And look how many spare workers I've got. Like I said before, this is on low and it's got 3 out of 3. So I really do have the capacity. In fact, let's get some more right now, because the hoes and hammers is what's actually holding me back. So yeah, let's get some more workers. So guys, I think because I rambled on for half this episode, not even half, 90% of this episode is me rambling on about economics and other random stuff. So if you're still watching, I do applaud your dedication to this series, because most people have probably clicked off by now for how boring that was. But if you have found it useful and you have enjoyed it, then I do thank you. What you could do by helping me out, giving the video a like, joining the Discord. Again, I would love to have you join. I want to organise some more Ymir series in the future involving subscribers like you, so we can maybe play on a private server together with like maybe 10 or 15, 20 of us, get a different type of series going, maybe a quick series, maybe one that only lasts a month, but there's lots of war, lots of action. Or maybe we all just decide that we all want to play on a normal server around the same time, so I get a bit more subscriber interaction. Or even if you're just interested in just chatting, come join. And then finally, if you're this far into the series but you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe, it really helps the channel. But apart from that, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next Ymir episode. Ta-ra!